Hello and welcome to Casey Noir and the Carved Pumpkins Latte. This is a short visual novel that was made for I want to say Halloween jam or something of that nature. So it's just a one-off visual novel. It's a mystery visual novel, I guess is the best way to describe it. And you may or may not recognize the art style from a visual novel that I read like a long time ago called oh crap, I forgot the name. Something Night Wind, but you might also recognize it from another visual novel about I want to say a protogen, but I don't know if that's what they're called in the visual novel. But yeah. Also, there's no music right now, but there is music. It's just not right now. But yeah, mystery visual novel, short. Anyways, let's begin. All the information. Oh, for the Spooktober visual novel Jam. That's what it was made for. So as I said, it's point and click, so you have to hover over little things here and there in order to progress the story. As you can probably already guess from what I'm hovering. You can't see my mouse, but whatever. The hotel is surrounded by decorated sets of blue flower bushes. They seem to be carefully maintained. It's still the same thing. A rope car for those who can't get here any other way, or just want to take in the view. Let's go back. A few bushes have been cut down, rather poorly at that. Can I... Okay, I can't look at that now yet, I guess. It seems that chains which would be in place have been opened. Okay. A few bushes have been cut down, rather poorly at that. It's the basement. I won't be needing a room to stay in, for my home is a step away from any shadow that I step in. Helen Q. Romero's. Oh yeah, so the main character is a shade, and I don't really know what that entails, but like they can basically move through shadows. Spooky. See, I heard that, but why didn't I hear anything else? A vase with a bunch of twigs, leaves, and some blue petals inside of it, with a single red petal on the table itself. It's not table. Closed. Closed. It's closed. People. Somebody spots me. What did a shade forget here? I thought it was going to be an exclusive kind of party. Well, it's hard to get rid of the pests. Well, who would guess that you would care to pay me a visit after all these years? Come here, you ghostly apparition. Glad to see you again, little punk. It's been a while since any of those descriptions were given to me. And especially tonight, as all of us took upon a self-proposed title, Call Me Old Bones, Bobby. Or, you know, at least in front of the guests. Sure, Bobby, as long as you throw one or two bones in my way. Drinks are on the house. Had to guess that, if anything, a party consisting of coffee connoisseurs would entice you to visit me. Connoisseurs? Judging that house of cards in their main room by a glance, the title of entrepreneur would spring to mind way sooner than anything as flattering as that. Apologies for disturbing you, Old Bones Bobby. One of the guests lost the key to their room and is asking for a replacement. Ugh, sorry. Casey, you better think of a title for the night by the point I'll finish with this. Oh, I sure will. Okay, so we get to talk to people. Groovy tunes give this place a vibe that even the cackling of snobby aristocrats can't ruin. partially because it makes it harder to hear them. Oh my, who would guess that such a intriguing personality would visit my party? Your party? Yes, dear, my party. I'm the humble patron of this charming abode. Not as charming as it used to be, of course, but this'll do. Tonight I'll be going by the title Lady Quintessence, and this is my friend and her husband. Double Trouble. Classy. And how should I address you? Casey. Casey Noir. Is that so? No interest in going with something more creative? Miss? Mister? Sorry, darling. Neither of those two suit me quite enough. And yes, Casey Noir it is. What's the point in trying to reinvent perfection? Well, aren't you a charming one? Oh, seems like more guests have arrived. Greetings, Mr. Romero. What in the world are you and your girlfriend doing here? Oh, I invited them. You did what? I specifically asked that you do not pull anything like this. Of course. Why should it matter that one of them has stolen one of my best employees? With all respect to Mr. Romero, I chose to leave on my own accord. Maybe someone should have treated their employees with more respect before starting to complain about it. Oh, spare my ears. We'll see how much you'll listen to all the little violins your workers will play should any mild problem arise. Who would have guessed that you of all people would criticize your workers so harshly? And who are you supposed to be? Firstly, I believe that tonight we all give ourselves special titles, don't we? So let me introduce you to my friends, Miss Crescent Moon and Miss Pumpkin. Pumpkin, really? Even found a nice accessory to look like a jack-o'-lantern. It's quite charming. Thanks. And as far as I myself go, well, you can address me as the inheritor of the lost glory. Oh, I see that someone has a talent for the dramatic. To an unbearable degree, within only a couple of minutes at that. Well, I guess the two of you might recognize me under my actual name. Miss Crescent Moon, will you do me the honors? Mr. and Mrs. Romero, let me introduce my sponsor, Amari Blacksword. You gotta be kidding me. Oh ho ho, this is getting interesting. You know, I always knew that behind all that talk about workers' rights and team morale, there was nothing more than hollow egocentrism. But even as such, just to think that you would be so hypocritical as to make a deal with one of the most infamous aristocrats in the last century. Now, why such rudeness? I might be a black sword, but the so-called one of the most infamous aristocrats in the last century was a title bestowed upon my father, not me. For you to not only show your nose here, but also proudly present yourself with all that smugness is beyond infuriating. Ugh, Lady Quintessence, does your event by any chance have any alcohol beverages in its roster? Bottom shelf in the kitchen. Oh dear. It's always a pleasure to see the disappointment in your eyes regarding your choice of partner, Ms. Romero. So they're all going by fancy titles. Well, that was something. Apologies. It's not uncharacteristic for him to have a short fuse. Oh, quite the opposite. Between him and his wife, he's usually the quiet one. I doubt that. Believe me, I've been acquainted with him for a whole 2 minutes. Sounds reliable enough. Honestly, I didn't expect either of the Blacksword family to take upon my party invitation. It's always more of a formality than anything. Well, you know, what better way to make an impression than to come to a party invited, yet to everyone's disbelief? Speaking of disbelief, I don't believe the two of us got to properly introduce each other. Or at least you didn't. Quite unusual to meet someone with such an exquisite relationship towards simple existence. Casey Noir. Pleasure's all mine. So, Miss Blacksword, how did... Oh dear, you seem to be mistaken in your assumptions. I'm no miss. Mister? Still no. I seem to have a strong sense of déjà vu washing over me. Or you might just not have it in you to appreciate the taste of a good drink. I take it these are buttons? So, what do the two of you do for a living? I am a real estate owner. Businesses mostly. Restaurants, shops, entertainment establishments, hotels. Is this how you got to know Double Trouble? Indeed. I've gotten in contact with them to buy out a building in an opportune location. I had reasons to believe that it would not make its return for them before they'd put it on sale for the public. In exchange for a good price on the building in question, I would have coffee shops of their chain in all of my hotels. And what do you do for a living, inheritor of the lost glory? Oh, you know, spending most of my life trying to help victims of my father's legacy. Some of those I've helped ended up engaging in different sorts of businesses with me. Like Miss Crescent Moon's establishment. Besides the help with financing it, I help with connections to suppliers, repair work, and so on. Well, aren't you a charitable one? Guilty as charged. What's with the sour mug, sweetheart? Can't say for sure why, but this all just feels artificial. Isn't that just business talk in general? The owner of this establishment seems to have quite a good taste in literature. Yeah, Old Bones Bobby used to talk about his collection quite a lot back in the day. So, the two of you know each other? You could say so, yes. Last time the two of us met properly, he didn't even own this hotel yet. But that would be more than a decade ago. Anyway, I don't believe that I read the one you're holding. Moments Undefined. It's considered a new classic. It's an anthology series centered around a various horror concepts engraving itself into a person's life. With each story seemingly one-offs concepts building up to an end part where it all culminates in an interesting way. I wouldn't call it anything more than the middle-of-the-road pulp fiction, though. Well, that's quite harsh of you. Well, yes, I feel that it's a bit more bland than the author's future works, neither of which have reached as beloved of a status as this one. To say that it's a mere pulp fiction would be to discredit a borderline art house approach to the way that it presents standard horror concepts. Darling, you're a business owner just like me, so let me give you some advice. You don't make an impression on others with the uncertainty you have towards something. Either go all in, or don't go at all. Continue to think in such a rigid way, and you won't even have time to blink before you lose touch with reality. To view something that way will do nothing but add confusion over your own feelings. Not being able to express or explain, instead just switching between the binary love or hate. I will have to side with our charming ghostly companion here. You're definitely lacking in nuance, my darling. Oh, spare me the headache. Oh, serviceman, get me some of those delicious pastries. Yes, ma'am. If anyone's looking for me, I'll be on the terrace. Wow, that was something. You must be quite vengeful to push the guy's buttons so much. Sorry that you had to see that. As our first impression on us, me and Romero's have never seen eye to eye. First, he tried to buy a cafe that I've opened up to no avail, then opened a competing one on the same street only for it to go under, and that's not even the end of it. I believe tonight the two of them go by the title of Double Trouble. Sounds about right. Aw, come on, Jules. We came here to have some fun, didn't we? Why should we immediately talk more about business? Sorry, I guess we didn't get introduced, did we? Well, I introduced myself. You were just late. Oh, sorry. No need. It's a good thing. Things would be much less interesting if everything would align just right, according to plan. No unpredictability. Name's Casey. Casey Noir. So why did the two of you show up here, besides infuriating double trouble, that is? You don't make an impression of snobby aristocrats. Oh, we thought to play the role of one, but the two of us decided that we should just try to relax and spend some quality couples times together this time. Right. Want to try my special coffee blend? How could I refuse such an offer? With the words, generally, it's always an option, but I'm glad that you decided not to consider it. Wow, it is something. Nearly makes me go full wine taster levels of pretentious to properly describe how nice it is. Oh, thanks. This party is the first opportunity that I've gotten to present it to someone other than my friends. At my previous workplace, I was responsible for general barista stuff, never really given much opportunity to try newer stuff. So getting to actually do something nice on a day-to-day basis will be a different kind of experience, that's for sure. It just wouldn't be right not to help my own partner, as she struggles with her job dissatisfaction, especially when having the means to. Needless to say, I'm really thankful for that. So, what's the story behind Inheritor of the Lost Glory? They already get too many headaches due to the unpleasant history of their family. What kind of history? Well, his father was the reason for the current unionization and labor laws to even be made in the first place. A lot of really exploitative practices. We're talking paying in company credits that can be exchanged only in company businesses, levels of evil. So a while back, it led to a huge unionization effort spanning quite a few industries. The government stepped up, leading to a lawsuit where huge amounts of workers actually got properly repaid for the work that they've done. The payout was so large that it was made up of a huge chunk of Blacksword's fortune, rendering him no longer being able to sustain his huge sets of commercial networks. With a bunch of repaid workers buying out the businesses for which they worked with that money. One of the workers being Mr. Double Trouble's father. So, that's what this is all about? Hatred towards Inheritor of the Lost Glory's father? 'Cause let me guess. While payout was large, it should have been a bigger amount. Exactly. Though the likes of him have no right to feel that way, considering that Mr. Romero himself has been going down the same path as that ruthless businessman. The fight allowed for Double Trouble's family to start their own business. So what led you to cross paths with the two families? My father fell into a gray area where his work fell to the lowest repayment rank despite his 12 years experience due to constantly being sent from one place to the other, as he was managing a bunch of them. Then, as I was stumbling my way through the bureaucracies needed to open up a cafe, I was contacted by the Inheritor of the Lost Glory. They weren't really in a good relationship with their father and were trying their best to help those affected by them, myself included. Ever since then, they've been my sponsor. Greetings, ladies and creatures undefined. How's your evening going? If you need anything, ask Bill. Or, sorry, today he goes simply by the title of Serviceman. It's always a pleasure seeing your wrinkly face, Bobby. Oh, spare me the compliments. My glory days are behind me. Spending the rest of them in this lovely place is as much as I could have hoped for from life. Wow, aren't you an optimist, Mr. Old Bones Bobby? I am old, my dear. Have to play the role as nicely as I can. So should you. So liven up. Relax and enjoy what we have to offer. Collect as many reasons to come back here again as you can. Again? Have you been here before? Yes, we have. For Pumpkin here, this is her first time. But not for me. Back when I was a kiddo, me and my parents used to visit this place. At the time, it was quite boring, not gonna lie. Who would have guessed that a quiet place where one goes to escape from the pressures of their daily life wouldn't be that good of a place for a hyperactive child? Still hard to believe that serviceman has been working here ever since then. Wait, seriously? It must have been, what, about 15 years? Somewhere around that mark, yes. Good old Bill has been here so long that the hotel changed its hands 3 times by now. No wonder he looks so tired all the time. So, what do you think of it all? Halloween, I mean. Why does it sound like you expect me not to be familiar with it? Oh, my apologies. I'm not particularly informed about the inner workings of minds such as yours. Up until tonight, your existence was more than rumors to me. Of course it was. It's unlikely for a person to meet more than one shade in their lifespan. How so? Beats me. All I know is that it's very rare for the lives of 2 shades to intersect, even when it comes to those we meet. Is the part about what happens to one's past after they become a shade true? Judging from experience, I would say so. I can't really remember anything before it, and no one can remember me. Not even a single physical evidence of me ever existed before then. Then how do you know you even had a past? It's the emptiness. What? While it's gone, there are still traces of something existing in its place. An empty line from the registries, photos where a person interacts with someone that we can't see. A person's own house indicating that they weren't living there alone. Is it traumatic? Not really, just unpleasant. It's hard not to wonder what my life was like before all this, but the world keeps on moving, and so am I. Can't really spend too much time on empty reminiscence when those that I care about slowly die with each second that I do so. Well, aren't you theatrical? You're one to talk. Oh, well then, wouldn't you want to spend a little bit of my slowly passing days with the dance? Getting straight to the point? Oh, believe me, there is nothing straight about it. Well, aren't you a charmer? What's that, old man? Jealous? I'm ready for a dance whenever you are. Oh, hush. Stuff like that is better left for the young and the hot-blooded. Not so long ago, you were just like that. Why should something of insignificance as the passage of time change that? Still the same old muse that I fell for all those years ago. I really did miss you, you know. Yeah, you were just so busy back during our last meeting. I didn't want to distract you from more important things in your life. Sooner or later, you'll have to start considering that maybe. You're one of those important things in the other person's life. As lovely as I would be, I'm just a guest. I'm not sure if I can just stay and watch someone's life pass right before my own eyes. Maybe the difference wouldn't be as noticeable if it didn't take you years to visit me. I'm sorry, Bobby. I truly am. You know, it's just not how I do things. It's quite hard to change the way that I am. Yet you were looking after me after I bought this hotel from Lady Quintessence 10 years ago, weren't you? So you noticed? I hoped that you would talk to me, but you just watched in silence. Why? I'm sorry for making you wait for me. I thought if I was out of the picture for long enough, you would find someone else to spend the rest of your days with. Casey, it's not just about a passing flirt here and there. I couldn't care less about being in any sort of formal relationship. What I was missing was the friend that I had in you. And you just left. You can justify it however you want, be it related to the nature of your immortal existence as a shade or more personal stuff. But facts are facts. You left me because you're scared of getting too close to someone. Maybe you're right. This is Pumpkin's body. It fell through the tent. Julia? Julia! Do you hear me? Don't look there. Not right now. Robert, Is there any tea? Upper corner shelf in the kitchen. Come here, sweetie. This is bad. No kidding. Shouldn't we call the police? There is a phone at the other end of the rope car. Casey, can you call for them? You're going to let a shade call the police. For all we know, they'll frame this on them. They won't hear anything besides my voice. It might take them hours to get here from their town. That should be enough to figure out what happened exactly. As lazy as cops are, they won't just write off a murder on a shade if they have solid evidence. Hopefully. Then do just that. We discovered the body of one of the guests falling through a tent with a blade in her back, and we aren't aware who the murderer is. What? How many guests were there at the party? Few dozen, I would gather. Yes, most of them have already left. What do you mean that you won't send anyone until the morning? Hello? Hello? What should I have expected, honestly? Bobby, where's everyone? They've scattered trying to distract themselves from what they just saw. Did you call the cops? Yeah, but they won't do anything until the morning. Figures. So, what do you think about all of this? Can't say for sure right now. Better to search the hotel for any clues there might be and then regroup to have everyone on the same page. Makes sense. I'll stay here, making sure no one disturbs the body. If someone comes back, I'll see that we should all regroup in an hour from now. Ditto. Let's inspectionate the body. There is a carving knife stuck in the pumpkin's back. Her sweater seems to have absorbed most of the blood. Coffee stains. Not blood stains, coffee. It's a key to room number 8. Is there anything else? Was her body pushed out of the window? I think it's the window to room number 8, but with the tent in the way, it's hard to say for sure. That's the window of room number 9. Tonight, Lady Quintessence stays there. That's the window to room number 8. I believe that our victim was the one who stayed there. That's the window to room number 7, Double Trouble's room. Still the same thing. Click on this now. A horror book by S.S. Cefio, accompanied by a custom bookmark that ends with a single blue petal. Nothing that I can click on it. Anything else that I can click on? That's the bookcase. So other people signed. Oh, there's stuff over here. There's something under the table. Inside a piece of wrapped cloth is a big stack of cash, a ring, and a torn pearl necklace. Well, it's clicking around that. Can I click on clues now? So I'm assuming these are all the clues that I've seen. As I said, that this was a, it was just a quick visual novel that was made for the little jam. So, like, a lot of the things are obviously not up to par with the one in the middle. What's this goes? The chain, the flowers. Oh. A rather dangerous slip. Departed 8:06, arrived 8:18 p.m. Departed. No, arrived. God damn it. Departed, arrived, departed. The last group of guests left while Pumpkin was last seen alive. So that means that whoever did it is still with us, I think. Still the same thing about the flowers. Rooms. What are you two doing? IOLG? Oh, Inheritor of the Lost. Okay. We wanted to check on Pumpkin's room, but the door is closed. Sorry if I'm being impolite, but considering that you were in a relationship with Pumpkin, shouldn't you have a key to it, Miss Crescent Moon? Well, no, Pumpkin asked to stay in a separate room this trip. Neither of us had the other's key. She used to get in a mood where she wanted to stay alone for a time. So, it wasn't, unusual. Now I wish I wasn't so respectful of her boundaries. It's better not to interfere with the evidence without reason. Can you ask Bobby for a copy of a key to Pumpkin's room? What for? I can just open it from the other side. You can? Looks aren't exactly a thing for me. Locks, I mean. Nothing... That's a box from a wedding ring. There's no wedding ring, though. Wow, I didn't know the two of you were engaged. Neither did I. There's no ring inside. Can you leave me alone for some time, please? Sure. I'll be waiting outside. So this would be inheritor blah blah blah, right? Hey. No. Oh, she's gone. She's gone. Where'd she go? Didn't jump out the window, I hope. Double troubles. Looks like the window lock malfunctioned and cannot be opened. What is this? Let me just enjoy my coffee. Oh. Who's who? I can't tell who's who. The two of them won't allow me to read it while they're here. Okay, guess I can't see anything in here. The door is slightly open. Okay, go inside then. Oh, there we go. Spilled coffee cup. Oh, this axe has a little... This pumpkin has the carving knife in it. There's a note hidden in a secret compartment. Romero, meet me at 11 p.m. in the hall. Was she contacting the male bunny? Roof plates below the window are shaken out of place. Some blood can be seen forming puddles. It's right there. Oh. This painting seems to be deeper than I've given it credit. A secret entrance. A torn piece of paper money. So this just leads back in. And this leads in here. But you can't go in here. Okay. So, what's this? Besides the two secret entrances behind the painting, it looks like this room has a third entrance, but it's 3 meters away from the ground. Not a problem for me, but for others it means a one-way entrance. It's the elevator. So this goes back down. And another entrance point to the roof, also 3 meters away from the ground, but due to the elevator's intricate cage-like design, it's easily possible to climb here. So somebody in the elevator, when it's up on the 3rd floor, can get out and then into the little pathway, and then sneak into either room. Huh. Can I? Oh yeah, you can. I think I have everything that I need for now. Better check on Bobby. I think I heard that staring at a dead body for too long isn't healthy. It isn't how I hoped for this night to transpire. No kidding. You know, Whenever I would read all the detective stories that sit in my collection, I'd imagine how exciting it would be to unravel a mystery playing out right in front of me. But now that it's happening, I just want it all to end. A girl is dead, killed under my roof, and I was none the wiser. It'll be alright, Bobby. I'm here for you. And how long will that last? Back when I first saw you appear at the grand reopening of this hotel, I hoped that one evening, while I was indulging in reading my collection, you would come out of the shadows. Sit beside me, saying nothing, and we will simply just drink tea. Needless to say, my book collection grew quite moderately since then, old friend. That it did. Deluxe editions, additional materials. Even signatures by authors. That's strange. I don't remember ever meeting SS Sefio. Should have had Crimson Antler signed instead. That one is much more up my alley. Guess my old mind just isn't the same as it used to be. Wasn't that the book that, the Inheritor was holding? Oh, seems like most of us are already here. Bethany. So, what should we do? We analyze, we discuss, and we uncover the truth. But Bill, the serviceman still hasn't come back. Has anyone seen him since he left this room? Me and Crescent Moon saw him in the lobby, as the two of us were going outside the hotel for some fresh air, after we met up in Pumpkin's room. We notified him about the meeting, so he should be joining us at some point. I better go look for him. This is a matter that we should all discuss. Listen, we didn't come to hang around the dead body of my past co-worker to wait even longer for some nobody. It's not like all of us are paying attention to this, seeing how the little Miss Hypocrite can't even put two words together. Don't you dare speak about me. You should have been the one with the knife in their back, not her. Now, everyone, calm down. We can outline the basis of what transpired here before the serviceman shows up. Very well. What do we know? Miss Bethany, who tonight has gone by the title of Pumpkin, fell through the tent with a knife in her back. Considering that her room is right over it, someone must have stabbed her while the door to her room was open. Threw her body onto the slightly diagonal roof under her window to hide it, and then it slowly slid down, falling through the tent, with the killer by now most likely having left the party before any of us were able to discover it. Well, sound at first glance. You're making a dangerous assumption of the killer no longer being in this very building. It's simple probability and logic. All the guests who didn't plan to spend the night at the hotel left around 8 p.m. We last saw Pumpkin leaving the room around, 8:30 p.m.? The sound thing for someone to do is to murder Pumpkin soon after she left this room. Hide her body so that it would take longer to discover it, then just leave while no panic has been raised. You're mistaken. The last rope car has left this hotel while Pumpkin was still seen alive. Which means the murderer is one of us. And that's not our only assumption. You see, Pumpkin wasn't killed in her own room. She was killed in Lady Quintessence' room. What? Miss Lady, you've been silent for a while now. Why is that? I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't visited my room since before we discovered the body. Well, should we then enlighten you about its current state? The first thing hinting directly towards this is the hole in the tent being located right below your window, which has been left wide open. The roof under said window having out-of-place tiles in the shape of a body, as well as blood forming in pools around it. The door in your room was left open, and near the corner between the painting and the window there is spilled coffee. Wait, you said that the door to my room was opened? Well, shouldn't that put less suspicion towards me? Just because she was murdered in my room doesn't mean that I was the one who did it. I didn't even have a key to my own room until Bobby gave me a copy. You didn't have your key? I lost it at some point before the bulk of the party started and informed servicemen to ask Bobby for a copy, which I have on me now. Can you confirm it, Bobby? That I can. Every numbered room has 2 keys, one given to the guest. The others stay with me, unless the first is lost. And what about room service? I give my keys to the servicemen, and they give them back to me after that. So what you're saying is that serviceman has his reasons to not be here right now. Only because of them possibly having a key to Lady Quintessence' room? This isn't much evidence. If he was here, it would be easy to dismiss unless we can prove him having one. Surely there must be more than that. You're right. In fact, anyone could have found the key in question. No, I believe that there is another reason for him not being around. That's... What? That's mine. That's my ring. I'm not talking about the ring. I mean the pearl necklace. Or at least what's left of it. And besides those 2, we have a large wad of cash. Any idea who it might belong to? Interesting. The piece of cloth with all of its contents has been hidden under a table in the basement, with a few pearls being scattered along the way. Think that he decided to hide or run because he discovered you stumbling on his cash? Quite possibly. I can't believe it. Would never think that Bill would steal from the guests. And if the cash has been stolen from previous guests, he must have been stealing small stuff from our guests for a long time. Wouldn't call stealing wedding rings small stuff. Yes, my apologies. So what does this mean? Serviceman found Lady Quintessence's lost room key and used it to make his way in to steal? Pumpkin must have been going past the open door, saw him robbing her, confronted him, and servicemen attacked her for that? Killing her, then dropped the body out the window on the roof. From there, it slowly slid until falling through the tent. Not quite. We still have a number of loose ends that don't fit into that theory. Like that of where the murder weapon in question came from. What's that supposed to mean? Ugh. Apologies. Give me a second to catch my breath. The murder weapon is a regular carving knife. There's one in nearly every pumpkin here. He must have just taken the nearest one when confronting our pumpkin. That's the thing. No pumpkin in the hotel is missing a knife. Otherwise, there could be a hole in place of one. So, what does that mean? The blade must have been prepared in advance. This murder wasn't an accident. It must have been intentional. Bobby, outside of the carving knives and the pumpkins all over the hotel, were there any spare ones around? There were. We had them stored in the basement. Why are we even questioning it anymore? Everything points to the servicemen. There's one more thing. The secret room. Secret room? A room that's meant to be secret, yes. You see, there is more to the place of the murder than meets the eye. Pumpkin and Lady Quintessence's rooms are connected. Connected, yes, from the hall. It looks like the 2 of them are separated with an elevator, but in actuality, there is an empty space between it and the rooms. 2 points of entry. One is a painting in Lady Quintessence's room, another in the roof pathway connecting it to the elevator. 2 exits, one through a simple painting in Lady Quintessence's room, and another through the painting in Pumpkin's room. An entrance through the roof pathway. It seems that once the elevator is on the 3rd floor, one can climb its cage-like walls up to the attic-esque place where they can jump into the secret room. That's interesting and all, but what does this have to do with a murder? There is no reason to suspect that either Pumpkin or serviceman knew about it. Actually, there is not only a reason, but evidence to prove it. Coffee stains on the wall frame behind the picture in Lady Quintessence's room. And we can be sure that the coffee has been spilled by Pumpkin herself, as she has the same stains on her sweater. So Pumpkin discovered the secret room and caught serviceman in the process of stealing Lady Quintessence's pearl necklace, leading him to kill her? Was the knife in that case an extra measure in case he would get caught in the act? There is one more thing. The painting in Pumpkin's room can be opened only from inside of the secret room itself. So, if she came into Lady Quintessence's room through it, would it have been opened in advance? What does that mean? It's possible that Surfaceman used the secret room to enter Pumpkin's room and stole her ring, with her catching him in the act. He ran, but she pursued him to be confronted in Lady Quintessence's room, where he stabbed her with the knife he must have had on him. But even then, some things just don't add up. Then just find the stupid Surfaceman rather than waste time on your theories. We already had reason to suspect him when he didn't show up to this meeting. With what you said, it'd be hard to deny... Michelle! No, can't you see it? It touched her, and now it will take me away. What's going on? Both of them still breathe, even if faintly. No fever either. I'll get some cold water. It's better for them to rest for the time being. We have some medicinal tea in our room. I don't know if that'll help, but it's better to try than not to. There isn't much that I can do, and we still need to look for Surfaceman. At worst, he's somewhere in the forest by now, but it's more probable that he stole one of your cars to get as far as possible. I'll just catch him at the closest intersection in that case. Firstly, let's check if he even left this hotel with the rope car departure records. You're coming with me? Me and Crescent Moon, yes. We'll be able to find him faster with more of us looking for him. Plus, it'll be less awkward to look for the killer of my friend than hanging around here. You aren't against that, right? We'll have an opportunity to chat in the meantime. I'm sure. The likes of him can't be allowed to run away from what they did. The winds are rising. Did he leave the hotel? Strangely enough, no. Wherever he is, he's still here. Shouldn't we look around for him? Yes, but the two of you better not split up. If our suspicions are correct, we have a murderer on our hands. Who knows what he can do if confronted alone? Fellas, I think there is something in this bush. It wasn't there last time I was investigating. It's a bloody carving knife. What's it doing here? Did someone try to dispose of it since the last time that we've seen it? Can it be that it has clues to the killer's true identity? Wherever it is, we need to check on Pumpkin's body. Whichever it is. How are they? Still unconscious. Did you find anything? The Surfaceman is still somewhere in this hotel. Rope car hasn't departed since the last we checked. There's also the matter of this. Is that... Let's see. It's a different knife after all. Does that mean... We better find Surfaceman as soon as possible. In this case, me and Crescent Moon will check the first floor, while you take care of the second and third. Spilled coffee. The cup of coffee that Miss Romero was drinking. There's some blue gunk on the bottom. Let me check the book. Check this. There's a coffee right there. It's not the same knife. Same old, same old. Same old. Nothing of note. Same stuff. The blood trail from the looks of it. I forgot. They're gone now. The last entry, Helen proposes to buy out one of the integrated barista establishments in one of her hotels. The notebook, a few newspaper articles about Blacksword, what is become of the tyrant. Blacksword family sells off, son attempts to repay the sins of the father. Is there any future for the Black Swords? I I kind of wish that it didn't immediately click off. So there's nothing else in here. What clues have I gathered? It is really funny that the little music thing is not the music thing, the record player is the only thing that's like actually rendered. It's closed, not that I care. Okay, go through it. You're a shadow, right? Oh, there we go. A broken vase that wasn't here when I first investigated the room, which means that somebody opened this. Ooh, this is Serviceman. His throat is slit and his arm has a visible cut on it. In his pocket is a key to Lady Quintessence' room. So our suspect is dead. There's still nothing in here. Where do we go now? There's nothing new in here. Oh. Nothing. Nothing. I mean, there's really nothing in here. I don't know what else I'm supposed to look at. I don't want to click on the hand. I seem to have missed something in the terrace. What? What did I miss? There's nothing that I have missed. Where? Ugh, that was it? Really? Our inheritor of the Lost Glory and Miss Crescent Moon back. We're here. Miss Romero, Lady Quintessence, you're alright? Far from it, but at least we're not passed out, dear. Robert made the two of them drink cold water with lemon, and they started feeling a little bit better. Don't ever call me that again. Did you three find Bill? Unfortunately, I did. Avert your eyes if you're squeamish. No, it can't be. Bill. Let me just say that I don't think he killed himself. Where did you find him? That's the interesting part. He was in the secret room. What? Yes, the same secret room that I told you all about. Needless to say, but he wasn't there last time that I checked it. Something that Miss Crescent Moon can state as well. So then he was killed between the point in time that you last checked the secret room and when you found him? That's quite a small window, isn't it? I came to the meeting about 20 minutes earlier, and then we waited an extra 10 minutes for everyone outside of Servicemen to come around. So there is about a half an hour window between when I've last been to that room and when I found his body. That's troublesome. A lot of us had the opportunity to do it. Except Bobby, that is. He was with me shortly after I've been to the secret room. And on top of that, you can serve as Crescent Moon's alibi and vice versa. Same goes for Double Trouble, leaving only Lady Quintessence. You. Why are you even here? For all the theorizing that you've done, you've never gave us an opportunity to consider you the killer. What reason would I have to kill? No authority can catch me, so this charade wouldn't play any purpose to me. Even if it wasn't yourself, something must have come looking after you. Throughout most of this night, I've been seeing something, things that I couldn't explain. But what purpose is there to doubt my own mind when there's already one creature unbound by laws of our reality around? Is it so out there to propose that their baggage has come hunting down those around them? And you accuse me of wild theories. You're so certain that it's not just in your mind that you close your eyes to hard facts. What facts are you talking about, harbinger of death? You've passed out before seeing some sort of creature unseen to us, showing the same kinds of symptoms as Miss Romero over there. But Miss Romero, please answer, have you seen a creature of any kind? Not when I passed out, no. Voila. But I saw something when I was back in my room. Excuse me? I could have sworn that my arm started cracking, as if made of stone. I was so sure that I could feel it, but before long my husband had shaken me out of that state. I haven't seen any of that, but I've seen some strange things as well. Nothing big, but still worrisome. Was this the case for anyone else? Somewhat, I guess. Yes. I believe that the key to what happened to you lies within this. A book? Bobby, can you summarize the story of this book, and specifically about the flower in it? So you figured it out? Yes, the flower in this book causes numerous hallucinations to the characters. In the book it uses the fictional name of Silence Nevermore, but its characteristics are quite similar to an existing flower. Nightingheart's Elysium. A flower that grows around this hotel. What's that supposed to mean? You're growing hallucinogens? I have to stress that it's not the main use of this flower. Normally it's used as a faint muscle relaxant, with its scent in particularly causing a sense of tranquility. It is legal and widely used by a lot of resorts given that they have a license for it, which I do, mind you. This is why you knew what to do when Lady Quintessence and Miss Romero collapsed, isn't it? That's right. I didn't say anything about it because, to put it bluntly, I don't want to get sued. I feared that the flowers were consumed accidentally, you see. Usually as precautions, we would have other kinds of flowers inside the hotel itself, but the bunch we ordered for tonight have been delayed. So I had to ask servicemen to cut a bunch from the back of the hotel. However, seeing that nearly everyone here saw something tonight, I have reasons to believe that what happened with Miss Romero and Lady Quintessence wasn't an accident. What's that supposed to mean? On its own, the flower is harmless, but if mixed with coffee brew, it can cause mild or severe hallucinations, combined with a sense of weakness depending on the way that it's prepared. But I haven't felt weak, even though I've seen some stuff myself. With the Noir not even witnessing anything despite chugging coffee all night. Now when you say this, I might have been poisoned, hard to say. Might? Poison, alcohol, drugs, none of that works on shades, neither good or the bad parts. And with it comes to the rest of us. It depends on whether the petals were just added into the coffee itself or if it was grinded beforehand. And just as you say, there was a trace of grinded Nightingheart's Elysium stuck at the bottom of the cup that Miss Romero spilled. So what? Someone poisoned us on purpose. Well, poisoned is a strong word, implying pain or harm. In your case, someone has tried to incapacitate you. Someone poisoned us. And I believe that I know who it is. You do? Oh yes. I believe that our one and only Black Sword hasn't been fully truthful with us tonight. Is that so? You see, I believe that the person standing in front of us isn't actually Black Sword. What's that supposed to mean? Oh, what made you think so? I found something that put your identity into question. Hey, that's my notebook. You see, this notebook had an interesting paper article in it. Son attempts to repay the sins of the father. At first, I thought that it was either Written before you stopped vibing with being defined as such, or, a more possible scenario of the news reporters just being assholes. But then I remembered a little slip of the tongue from Crescent Moon as we were talking about you. Or rather to say, when we were talking about Blacksword, something along the lines of, well, his father was a reason for the current unionization and labor laws to even be made in the first place. His father, not their father. She was talking about the real Blacksword, not you. Sorry, thought that they didn't notice it. That's alright. All the more dramatic of an entrance. Well, bravo. You're right. I'm not Mr. Blacksword. Then who in the world are you and how did you know that I'd invited them? Well, I do know Blacksword. You see, I'm actually... One moment, please. Can I guess? Guess? Think you have enough to go off of, as to know my true identity? I think I do. You're S.S. Sefio, author of this book. Wow, aren't you a perceptive one? You gotta be kidding me, seriously? Really? Gotta say I love your Crimson Antlers, a masterclass of slow-burning terror. It's always so nice to hear compliments about that one, considering how rarely it's mentioned on its own. But how did you know? You shouldn't have signed the book if you didn't want to be found out. I've checked the guest book and noticed that the handwriting of the signature on this book and the guest one were quite similar. Why in the world did you pretend to be Blacksword? Had you written to me, I would have given you an invite myself. Oh, come on, it's Halloween, a night to wear masks and pretend to be someone monstrous. How could I pass on the opportunity to play a child of a wicked creature such as Blacksword? Amari figured that trying to please the public in his situation is an uphill battle, so he just doesn't bother to do that and proposed that I go under his name. As well as an opportunity to play on my nerves. So what, Blacksword is actually some horror writer? What does this have to do with my wife and Lady Quintessence being poisoned? Right, Sefio, you're the one who wrote a book that heavily relies upon the knowledge of how Knighting Heart's Elysium works, yet you haven't brought it up at any point. Including when Lady Quintessence started wildly theorizing regarding her hallucinations. How come? I guess it just slipped my mind. Don't joke around with me. You've been silent because the person who poisoned the coffee was Miss Crescent Moon. Considering that the two of you have known each other for a while now, she must have read your book as well. Meaning that she knew about the flower and possibly even its real-life counterpart. You recognize what's happening, and that's why you tagged along with me to look for a serviceman to talk about that. Good theory, but not nearly enough evidence. Oh, who cares at this point? Yes, I poisoned them. You little... I knew you were a petty one, but to stoop so low as to poison my wife because your own girlfriend died is just pathetic. I didn't try to poison your wife, you egocentric idiot. You were the one whom that poison was intended for. She just drank it by mistake. Oh, that does make more sense. Michelle, don't just agree with her. Oh, hon, I wouldn't have married you had I not been ready to be poisoned by one of your competitors. That's just part of the deal. Well, that's pretty sweet, actually. Oh, for the love of... Why did you poison us? Because I'm sure that one of you killed Pumpkin. You think that I will just stay on the sidelines and do nothing about it? This is preposterous. I had no ill intent towards her. Oh, please, you're the most two-faced person here. Even if she wasn't killed in your room, I still will suspect you. No need to explain why I suspect Mr. Romero. But why did you poison everyone else? I figured that if the police were to drug test us, it would be suspicious for only Lady Quintessence and Mr. Romero to have traces of Knighting Heart's Elysium. So I added a small dose to everyone's coffee, even mine. Girl, you are so getting sued. That's if you won't be in prison for murder before then. Enough. This is all nice, but where does it lead us? Well, yes, this little detour into the mystery of deranged dames and their dramatic games reveals what we were drugged, some more than others, as well as who has drugged us. But does it lead us closer towards figuring out any of the two murders? That's something I'm not really sure about, to be honest. Sometimes it's just good to go with the flow and see where it leads. But even then, we were able to unravel one part of what's happened today, which means that we'll have an easier time figuring out the rest. Ugh, okay, once again, what do we know? The serviceman was killed sometime within a half-an-hour window. During it, nearly everyone formed a pair, so each person can testify for the other's alibi. It leaves only Lady Quintessence unaccounted for. Not to mention that she's the one who diverted the flow of the investigation in the first place. You aren't actually accusing this lady of murder after you tried to cover up that I was poisoned, are you? There's a first time for everything. How stupid do you expect me to be? To kill someone in my own room after there was already another murder in it? After our first meeting, in the window of time when Serviceman was murdered, I have yet to reveal my discovery of the secret room. It's quite possible that a certain someone, while still thinking that no one else knows about the secret room, killed Serviceman and hid his body there to then dispose of it later. Now that's just ridiculous. One more thing, the door to your room was closed. So, a copy of my key is still somewhere out there. Anyone who found it could have closed it. Except that I found the key to your room in Serviceman's pocket. Too many coincidences for one night. Oh please, the murderer must have killed Serviceman in my room, hid his body in the secret room, closed the door from inside, then got out through the elevator entrance. No, it's impossible to use the elevator entrance as an exit due to the height and the thin space. The only way Serviceman's killer would be able to get out of is either through Lady Quintessence or Pumpkin's door. Needing a key to go to the corresponding room to close it behind them, with Pumpkin's body having her key and Serviceman having a key to LQ's room on them. With the only person who had the copy of Pumpkin's key having an alibi at the time of the murder. Well, for all we know, the killer could have dropped Serviceman through the elevator access without entering the secret room itself to begin with. They would have to get their body from the place of the murder all the way to the elevator, climb to its highest part, then drag at least 70-kilogram body 3 meters high, all the while not being spotted or leaving a trace of a body being dragged. Maybe not if there were two of them. You're not seriously implicating us? Sorry, dear, but I'm backed against the wall here. Just think, isn't it possible that the Romeros killed him during the period in time, hidden him on the top of the elevator somewhere in the shadow of a roof support? For the Romeros to then move the body later on, in order to implicate me? He did take a trip to the 3rd floor when going after medicine for Miss Romero's collapse. He could have climbed into the roof pathway and dropped Serviceman's body to implicate Lady Quintessence, should he and his wife prepared it in advance. We're just jumping between theories at this point. Well, there is a piece of evidence that can give us a better idea regarding its murder. A knife that we found in a bush. Which bush exactly? The one to the left from the hotel entrance. Well, this is interesting. Do you remember which room's window is located just in the corner between the terrace and the hotel's front side? Double Trouble's. You're implying that we threw the knife out of our window? But even so, why hide the knife? And why under their own window? Wouldn't it make more sense to just throw it into the nearly unreachable cliffs at the base of the hotel? Too much trouble to only raise more suspicion in a scenario where the knife is found. If anything, the most logical window to dispose of a knife that any suspect outside of you may think is yours. Serviceman's murder happened in a tight window of opportunity. I wouldn't have had time to go outside and plant that knife, nor throw it far enough away for it to land specifically under Romero's window from mine. No, there is one way, the roof. Pumpkin's body was on it for some time before it slid down. You could have used it to get towards Double Trouble's window to then drop the blade from that part of the hotel. which explains traces of the roof debris in a tent that appeared after our first meeting. Wait, that must be it. Romero must have gotten into my room from the window that was open since the start of the investigation. That way, we could have closed the door from inside and then got out through his own window. That must be it. Alas, Double Trouble's window is broken. What? No, it can't be. It can't be. Fine. I can't go on like this. I've dragged my name through the dirt enough during this embarrassment of a defense. Helen. Yes, I killed servicemen, but only servicemen. We're listening. I haven't visited my room until a bit before our first meeting. What reason would I have to do so at that time? We didn't know that window from which Pumpkin fell out of was mine and not her own. But when I was about to enter my room, I saw that the door was opened and inside of it was serviceman doing something behind an open painting. I tried a glimpse at what he was doing until the wooden floor creaked, letting him know about my presence. In hindsight, it's possible that he was trying to get rid of some evidence. He panicked, and the next thing that I remember was him trying to hit me with a vase. I grabbed a carving knife in self-defense. First swing cut his arm, then the second his throat. I didn't mean for him to die. I just didn't want to repeat the fate that fell upon our dear Pumpkin. Just to think that Bill would attempt to harm you, a person he worked for more than a decade. Why didn't you tell me? Sorry for trying to shift the suspicion onto you. Thought that if I murkied the waters, it would be harder to prove that I was the one who killed him, even if not intentionally. Miss Crescent Moon, I swear, I didn't do anything to Pumpkin. Considering Serviceman's actions, it's highly possible that he found my lost key. Inviting Miss Pumpkin into my room under some excuse and then killed her to put all of the suspicion onto me. Is that right? Excuse me? You see, this is a knife from your room. So what of it? There are knives in a lot of the jack-o'-lanterns. You said that you grabbed the knife as Serviceman noticed you entering the room. And yet, instead of running away as he attacked you, you somehow made your way to the opposite side of the room and grabbed the knife before Serviceman was able to do anything, with no signs of struggle in that part of the room itself. If anything, the vase that you stated Serviceman used was closer to the entrance. Lady Quintessence intended to kill Serviceman. She took the knife before the two of them met, and the vase was used by him as self-defense. Helen? And I think I know why she tried to kill him. You see, Lady Quintessence alludes that she did intend to kill someone else tonight. In fact, someone who still stands in this room. What's that supposed to mean? It's quite possible that trying to get rid of that evidence wasn't the only thing he intended to do in your room. He was looking for something else in particular. The stack of money. The cash that Bill stole over the years? Oh, Bobby, you're mistaken. None of this was stolen. It was payment. Helen, say something. No comment. Why is that now? Afraid to give any information that might give the police enough to work with? To put you behind bars? Well then, let me tell you how this night was supposed to play out. Prior to Old Bones Bobby, you used to own this hotel, with servicemen working here even back then, so the two of you knew each other quite well. You knew that after working here for more than 20 years, he wanted to turn his life around. But how could he? He never made enough to afford moving somewhere else. A free room for staff was too good to just let go of in this situation. So you proposed a deal, one that he couldn't say no to. Kill and you'll get money. Fast forward to tonight, when your little arrangement was supposed to play out, and before you know it, you hear a scream coming from the terrace. A body was found, but it wasn't the body of the person that you were expecting. It was Pumpkin, but how come? It wasn't what you agreed upon. You couldn't confront servicemen in front of us, so you left with Double Trouble as an excuse to later meet up with him. And when you did, you were sure that he was the one who must have killed Pumpkin. It was too much of a coincidence. You see him trying to find the money that was meant to be in the secret room, so you confront him. and everything plays out just about how you described, with the exception of you already being ready to kill him. This is all a nice little theory that you've baked there, but a huge stack of cash can't be the only evidence that you have for that. Well then, wouldn't you want to take a look at this? Is this supposed to be addressed to me? I found it in the secret compartment of Lady Quintessence' table. And if you have any doubts about the author of this card, I recommend that you compare it to this. It's Lady Quintessence's handwriting. I have nothing to say until I see my lawyer. You tried to kill my husband. Why? As far as I can say, the reasoning is simple. Money. What? She did propose to buy out one of the cafes placed in one of her hotels, didn't she? Mr. Romero was the face of your company. Had he died, your company would face at least some kind of financial trouble. Give it all just a bit of time and Lady Quintessence would propose to buy out more and more of your establishments for a much lesser price. All of that just to make me sell a bunch of coffee chain places? You're a businesswoman just like me, Michelle. You know how it works. Can we restrain her until the police get here? I'll go look for a rope. Go on. You're just giving more for a lawyer to play around with. I swear I'm gonna kill her. This is why you invited Crescent Moon, Pumpkin, and even Black Sword. To create as many suspects who might have had a motive to kill Mr. Romero. That is why he was considered to be killed at least. This is why the chains to the basement were still laying on the ground. You agreed with servicemen to incapacitate him in the middle of the night, to get him out of the back and throw him down the cliffs. At best, it would look like an accident. I found rope. Do we really need to do this? Yeah, no chance we're trusting you as much as moving until the police comes around. So what? Bill killed Pumpkin while trying to steal from her, while Lady Quintessence killed Bill for doing that? Hard to tell. Feels like I'm missing something, but can't put my finger on it yet. I don't know about you, but I need to take a break from all this. Wholeheartedly agree on that. We'll let you know if I find anything. How are you holding up? What am I supposed to do now? Well, sleep would be a good start. Collect your thoughts and all that. I know this is overwhelming, but you will get through it. You went through so much already. Yeah, I have to. Back when Miss Pumpkin and Crescent Moon visited this place, I've stumbled onto something. I was walking past the window overlooking the yard in front of the hotel, as I've noticed Miss Pumpkin standing on the edge of the cliff. Back then, there wasn't a fence. She was just standing at the very edge of it. I was about to run down, fearing the worst, but as I was about to do so, I saw Bill coming towards her. They appeared to be talking with each other. A few minutes later, Bill walked out of my view, leaving Pumpkin alone where she was, soon after she stepped away from the edge. I've never asked either of them about it. Now none of them are here to tell what happened that evening. Was that the last time Pumpkin visited this hotel until tonight? Yes. Huh. I don't think that I can go back to that apartment. Feel free to stay at my place, for the time being. Some peace away from things that remind you of her will do you good. I was thinking about traveling somewhere for a while. Guess this is as good an opportunity as any. Pumpkin wasn't the type for it. You sure? She mentioned wanting to visit ski resorts from time to time when we would chat. Yeah, she tended to hide stuff from me. Sometimes it felt like strangers would know her better than I did. After a few years of dating? It was... complicated. Oh, it's you. You startled me. Sefio, please, tell everyone to gather in the main party room. For what? Casey? Jules? What's going on? Where am I? Look up. What? You're the one who killed your girlfriend. What are you talking about? How can you even... We are alone here. I have evidence that I'm sure everyone will like to hear. But before then, I want to hear it from you. Why? With everything that has gone down tonight, It's easy to forget how beautiful of a night it is. Yes, you're right. I killed her. Why? The two of us have lived a lie for a while now. Our relationship started to deteriorate, yet neither of us wanted to be the first one to end it. We became known as the one happy couple. So I've started giving her reasons to end it all. We had a history with this hotel. Our last visit here was supposed to be a thing that mended our relationship, but instead we just pushed each other away even more. I couldn't comfort her, or even understand, as a matter of fact, even more so than I thought, as I found out tonight. The next thing that I remember is looking out the window, seeing her nearly taking one step closer to the end. A week ago, I got an invitation to a party in the same hotel, so you can guess what my hopes were with the two of us visiting again. Yet, when me and her and Scipio were sitting in that rope car, slowly making our way here, something changed. I saw a light lit up in her eyes, and I just couldn't understand it. And so I decided to break the ice between the two of us after we would come back home. So then why? She was acting strange. Back during my childhood, when I was climbing the walls of the elevator, I stumbled into the secret room. So when me and Scipio left to look for her, I split up from them while they talked with Lady Quintessence and decided to wait in the secret room to listen in on when Pumpkin would start talking to herself. But instead, I overheard and found something different. It was Lady Quintessence and servicemen. Planning to kill Mr. Romero. And pin the fault on either his wife, me, Pumpkin, or Scipio, should the police suspect foul play. I could have prevented Mr. Romero's murder by simply telling about Lady Quintessence's plan to everyone else, but then I thought about something else. With all the preparations for a murder to be committed already in place, I could use it to my advantage. Excuse me? Think about it. I dropped the body outside of Miss Quintessence's room, incriminating her while also preventing her from relocating the body inside the secret room, from which it could have been disposed of later, to fake an accident the way they intended with Mr. Romero. Any leads towards their planned murder would lead them straight to Lady Quintessence or servicemen. And besides Pumpkin, you yourself identified and proved the murder done by the hands of Lady Quintessence, with the victim of that murder being paid to attempt killing someone. Even if the police, for some reason, won't think to justify Pumpkin's death to be by the hands of one of them, we still have you, a shade with the means to commit a murder leaving basically no clues for it. You know, just the way that you might do right now. And on top of that, each person who was around since the murder happened was drugged with hallucinogens that can and did cause vivid illusions, making most of their testimonies unreliable. And even if, let's say, I've missed something and they will have solid evidence against me, well, after you made Lady Quintessence crack, I've drunk some of it myself. It wouldn't be hard to convince the authorities that after hearing Lady Q's and servicemen's plans to kill Mr. Romero, the hallucinogens made me think that Pumpkin was one of them, trying to kill me. Sure, the evidence makes it all quite messy, but I can work with it, should it come to that. Just imagine all the sympathy towards poor little me stumbling on the body of the girl who was just about to propose to me. Propose. When Pumpkin walked in the room, I pretended that I have just discovered the secret room, showing it off to her, while holding the knife servicemen and Lady Quintessence had prepared behind my back. It was somewhat awkward, but what murder isn't? As she stepped into Lady Quintessence's room, I stabbed her in the back, with her dropping the box with the wedding ring in it. I would be lying if I said that seeing that didn't make things complicated. Exactly. I could have sworn that she wanted to break up with me, but didn't for the same reasons as me. So then why was she about to propose? Did she... Never mind. So, what are you going to do with me now? I will prove that it's you who killed Pumpkin. Good luck with that. It would be a wonderful charade. A girl accused of the murder of her fiancé by a heartless shade definitely has a ring to it. Is that all you care for? Charades? To play the role of a pitiful victim of circumstances? I have already murdered Pumpkin. There's no turning back from that. What's the point of thinking that this isn't for me? As Scipio says, if you play a role, enjoy it to the end. The art of artifice won't cease until you find peace. Oh dear, there's only one way for me to have peace. Oh no, you don't. What's going on? Have they tried to kill me? Casey, how are we supposed to interpret this? What's going on? Please help me. Get away from her. Casey, say something. I knew the shade would snap sooner or later. Don't trust them. They're lying. They're dangling me from the top. What have I done to deserve this? Let her go. Julia, when did you poison Lady Quintessence and Mr. Romero? What? I'm sorry. If the reasoning for the poisoning that she gave us is truthful, then when exactly would she have had the opportunity to do it? What do you mean? At the end of our first meeting, Lady Quintessence was already strongly affected by the poisonous effects of the flowers. So if the reasoning was her seeing Pumpkin being killed, then she would have had to both find, prepare, and add those flowers in Pumpkin's coffee brew. At best, she would have had to have them drinking it during the meeting itself, which wasn't the case. No. She could only have drugged the coffee. No. Before Pumpkin was found dead. No. The morning came. Police have arrived. Lady Quintessence and Crescent Moon have been held for further questioning. This Hallows Eve claimed the lives of a pair and led another onto a darker path than any that they might have seen, leaving the rest to make sense of what has gone down. So, what are the two of you gonna do now? I think we're due for a talk with Mr. Blacksword, the real one. The loss of Pumpkin was a loss to a lot of us, especially considering the circumstances of it all. Feels like a fitting end to bury a hatchet. I know that we haven't started out on the right foot, but thank you. I don't know how to process what I'm feeling right now. An easy answer would be sadness, but it doesn't seem like a proper way to express it. Actually, never mind. I think the time for being descriptive and informative has come to an end. Sad will do for now. Let's see where it'll lead at me. Think that we can never meet again? I wouldn't want my first impression to be the only one. Oh, don't worry. You've made an impression all right. Only one, though. We'll have to see how that'll go. But if anything, give me a call until then. It's see you later. I couldn't sleep. That's understandable. Have enough room for one more on the sofa of yours? Sure. Close your eyes. I don't want to sleep. Just for a few seconds. Fine. And that's the end. I'm pretty sure there's nothing to click on, right? But yeah, that was the end of the short self-contained visual novel. I should stop reading things so late at night. So if you're hearing this, you'll probably be seeing this closer to Halloween. But for anyone that is a channel member, they'll be seeing this closer to like the beginning of October. Because I'm recording this on the 4th of October. They'll probably see it on the 5th or the 6th. So yeah, just something to, take into consideration if you want to see these videos before, they go public. Well, if you want to see these videos while they're scheduled. Yeah, that's the better word to phrase it. Anyways, so everything was very twisty. People wanted to get rid of other people, business rivals, and just apparently people that they had fallen out of love with, because to me it seemed like Pumpkin was still in love with Miss Crescent Moon, but she just hadn't been able to properly express it. But this more current visit to the hotel, or where they, I guess, shared some memories or whatever, was where she was going to profess her love to Crescent Moon and say, will you marry me? However, Crescent Moon by then had already fallen out of love, either because of her own whatever is going on inside her head, or because maybe she just didn't feel the love coming from Pumpkin, because it's, it's one thing for you to say you love someone and it's another thing to show it, It's one thing for you to say, I love you, or to be living with someone or whatever, but like if you never actually show anything that actually proves that you love them, and I don't mean like, you buy them gifts or you marry them or whatever, but that you do something to show that you love them, then how are they supposed to know? Not only that, but like even when Crescent Moon said like that she would frequently hide things from her, that she would isolate herself and stuff like that. Like, what is she supposed to, like, think about that, I mean, that's no excuse for, murdering them, but still. What else? I don't know if there was supposed to be, like, a story before this where he's doing some other investigating, or he's, like, meeting this person, or, like, all the backstory and all the other stuff was just literally that backstory. But yeah, anyways. If there is, then I will eventually find it or whatever. I don't think there is, but yeah, whatever. Anyways, so thank you all for watching / listening. I'll probably leave this as one long video, or it depends. I don't know. We'll see. If you would like to play any of this creator's visual novels, you can do so by going down into the link in the description. They do have 2 full visual novels. The one that I was supposed to keep reading on here, which I will eventually get to. Something about Night Wind or something, I forgot what it's called. And the other one, which I think is called No More Future or something like that. I don't know. There's like a protogen on the cover. Or not a protogen, a synthetic character, because they don't have like the little, they don't have the visor that has the digital face on it. Anyways, but yeah, so those will be linked down in the description, and any form of support for them will also be linked down in the description, as well as my stuff, just so my Ko-fi, in case you want to join the channel, the link will be down there as well, hopefully, if I don't forget. Throne also, everything is down there. There's other stuff in there in case you want to, crowdfund it, Anyways, but yeah, so I guess that's it for now, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.